Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes Reacts. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I am Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively we are the Office Blokes. Hopefully that fly's pissed off.
Let's hope so,
annoying me on the last video.
Highly annoying.
A year of doing YouTube videos and it's the first time a fly has really bothered me.
It's really.
They don't really get in here though, do they?
No, they don't.
Yeah, done pretty well.
Yeah, done alright there. We are the Office Blokes, a couple of other YouTube channels, Patreon page, social media merch, all that good stuff. Click the link in the description and it will take you where you need to go. The merch makes you at least 35% more attractive to vegetables.
If you wear the merch, you're guaranteed not to be under 20 called Jeff.
It's true.
You reckon?
It's true, definitely. Right, how McDonald's really makes money. I thought they just printed it in greasy form.
Pretty much. That's the top and bottom of it, I would suggest.
There is no McDonald's anywhere that isn't busy that I've ever seen.
Mass production, isn't it? Yeah, like I say, always busy, aren't they?
Do you remember when they were closing? Because obviously because of the pandemic, and it was the last Friday to get a McDonald's, and the queues were just
block the road. Block the road here, outside here.
That's ridiculous, wasn't it? Yeah,
they did near my house as well. There was probably a queue of about 60 cars, realistically, without exaggerating. I could say hundreds, but I'd be chatting shit.
So no one can prove it wrong, Dave. So
no, it's true. Anyway, let's find out how McDonald's really makes money. Let's do this.
During recessions, consumer behavior tends to change in fairly predictable ways. The hardest hit businesses are, of course, the most unnecessary: travel and tourism, leisure and hospitality, and manufacturing. Other companies actually stand to benefit, like fast food. Stomachs don't respond to economic downturns, but smaller bank accounts do opt for cheaper alternatives, which is why chains like Burger King and Wendy's often perform better than average during recessions. From 2008 to 2010, for example, while other businesses closed or downsized, Subway added nearly 6,000 new locations. KFC added around 300 in roughly the same period. One company, however, stands out as the clear fast food winner of 2008, McDonald's. That year, it continued its 55-month-long streak of same-store sales increases with even better performance than before the
I must say, out of all the fast food chains you get shit Subways, you get shit KFCs, you get some good KFCs and some good Subways. McDonald's is consistent.
It's unbelievably consistent, isn't it?
Wherever you go in the world, you go to McDonald's, you get the same fries, the same, and it's all packaged the same.
Yep.
It's good packaging. It's done well. You go KFC, fucking boxes are open, chicken's shit, it's dry.
KFC in this country is probably a 50-50 whether or not it's going to be nice. It's that bad. Yeah.
I don't have KFC.
I've got one near the house and the kids like the popcorn chicken, so I do get it sometimes, but it's not my first choice.
Yeah. I do like the taste of the KFC, I must admit. The actual taste
when it's nice, it's really nice, but it's really inconsistent.
Yeah. But McDonald's, wherever you go around the globe, very consistent. It's all exactly the same.
Yeah.
Recession, while opening 600 new locations and with an impressive 29% return on equity. Some of this is for obvious reasons. During that time, consumers were simply eating cheaper food. But there's another reason McDonald's is what some analysts call recession-proof. McDonald's is first and foremost a real estate company. Glancing at its 2019 balance sheet, one number in particular should grab your attention: $39 billion. That's the current value of all its property and equipment before it reports depreciation. That would technically make it the 5th largest real estate holder in the world, measured by total assets. Cover the name McDonald's, and this might look like the financial statement of any other boring big-name real estate developer. Like Burger King and Subway, the company was able to grow so fast and reach so many countries around the world through franchising. 85% of its restaurants are owned by someone who essentially leases the McDonald's name and brand in exchange for a considerable fee. What makes the company so unique is that unlike other similar fast food giants, McDonald's makes the majority of its franchise revenue from rents, not burgers. To be more precise, in 2019, 7.5 or 64% of its $11.6 billion in franchise fees came in the form of rent. Here's how it works. Because McDonald's has decades of experience buying and selling properties, it knows the precise ingredients of a successful location. It shops around usually for intersections between two high-traffic roads, and buys space in whichever corner has the most parking. The ideal space is around 50,000 square feet, 4,500 for building space. The intersection should also have traffic lights. It then buys the property with long-term fixed interest rates. Its huge existing property holdings provide it with the most favorable deals. Then, when someone applies to operate their own McDonald's location, they sign with the company a franchise agreement, stipulating nearly every detail of how the business will operate, from how the burgers are cooked to the hours of operation. For example, they can only purchase from an approved supplier, who may or may not be the best or cheapest option. The franchisee, that is the local owner, generally makes a total upfront investment of $1 to $2 million for a single location, including an initial down payment paid in cash, one-time franchise fee of $45,000, and a percent royalty of every month's revenues. These usually 20-year contracts also have the unusual but highly consequential stipulation that the restaurant be located at that specific address, the one McDonald's, the corporation, just bought. In other words,
It's proper racket. Proper racket, isn't it?
Just
Like I say.
That's like
I love businesses like this.
it's like ground rents, though, isn't it? With the new housing developments they build, and your ground rents are low when you first buy. They can put it up to whatever they want.
Yeah, but not many people do in this country. It's
And-
always very, very, very low.
The government are putting a stop to it as well, but there are people who've quadrupled ground rents just overnight, and people are like, "What am I
Great way
supposed
to do it. I mean, it's owning the buildings as well, the properties. I mean, like I said, they've got absolute fortune from that, haven't they?
To give you an
Jeez.
idea on our ground rent, mate,
Wow.
what we paid on our last building, we don't pay ground rent on here because it's leasehold.
Yeah,
But when it was, it's freehold. When it was leasehold on the previous building we were in, ground rent per year,
go on.
21 quid,
Yeah,
7,000 square foot.
Yeah.
a lot of the. I'm thinking
it.
residential properties, though. A lot of them aren't the new build estates. They're nothing like that. They're
No.
thousands usually, but obviously that's residential, not like this.
But a lot of
Yeah.
the leasehold in this country is owned by the council.
Yeah, or the church, isn't it? Well, the parish council.
Yeah, can do. Yeah.
This is nuts, though, isn't it?
This is a slick. I mean, that's why they're the biggest because
Yeah.
that's why
Of
they're
course.
so uniform. Look, this is a well fucking oiled
So
machine.
they're doing
You know-
everything that they
Yeah.
say, but they haven't got any of
This
the
is
It's like
slick.
Yeah.
hiring the staff and stuff
Well,
like that, have they? And,
you
You never really come across a bad McDonald's.
No,
They're
it's
always
rare,
clean.
isn't it?
They're always fucking
Yeah,
dressed nice.
usually.
They're always smart.
The issue with KFC over here is it is a franchise, but they don't come down hard on franchisees that aren't keeping the standards up. So you can go to a KFC in this country where the staff aren't trained properly, it's filthy, the food takes 15-20 minutes to get out, even though it's supposed to be fast food.
Yeah.
There's no McDonald's, it's ready. You're in and out in minutes, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's the leader in that industry by far.
Oh,
without
it is
that.
massively, isn't it? Yeah. It just
No one
proves
comes
it, doesn't
close.
it?
Yeah, we just like I
know,
say,
it's
the numbers are showing it. But I think we
Yeah.
knew this already.
Yeah, but I didn't realise how big, like the 5th biggest property
Yeah, but you
owner
go-
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. It's
yeah.
that's unbelievable. That is.
When you talk about
That's
fast food
huge.
chains, you go around the world and you see a McDonald's everywhere. Anywhere
You
in the
do.
world, you see a McDonald's. You don't see a Wendy's or a Burger King in every
No.
place in every corner of the
Like
world.
I say, they're all pretty consistent as
Yeah.
well. To get that consistency as well around the world is
Crackers,
absolutely
isn't it?
incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what a business model.
Yeah,
Wow.
brilliant.
McDonald's instantly has a tenant, and one who will always pay above market rates. Depending on the value you attribute to good location scouting, you might characterize this as a valuable service or a ruthless business tactic. Indeed, one franchise union found that the average franchise tends to pay an average of 6 to 10% of its sales in rent, while McDonald's franchisees pay 8.5 to 15%. And if a location fails to perform as expected, McDonald's can simply find a new franchisee for that location after the contract has expired, or sell the land to someone else entirely, likely at a significant profit. So why do franchisees agree to these stringent requirements? Simply put, because it's seen as an incredibly safe investment. The advantage of this model is that while the absolute numbers are abnormally large, the fees, the initial startup costs, and even the annual revenues, the odds of success are relatively high. For example, the average location makes $2.7 million in sales every year, with a respectable but not incredible all things considered $154,000 in final take-home profit. But precisely because McDonald's is so demanding, can it be such a solid investment? Sure, applicants have to meet high standards to become franchisees, and once they do, they have little control over their own business. But all these factors also reduce their risk. While
I had no idea that's how they made the burgers. To see the two little...
Yeah.
That was really cool.
other franchises may have fewer requirements, they also come with greater risk. The owner of a McDonald's can be pretty sure they're qualified for the job, have a good location, and are meeting customers' standards, because otherwise they wouldn't be allowed in the first place. McDonald's trains its franchisees in what it calls Hamburger University, the company's internal...
I bet the fees are
Nice
well
one.
expensive to go to Hamburger University.
Bet they are.
Get you in student debt before you can have your franchise. It is impressive, isn't it? It's unbelievably
it is.
I was going to
impressive.
say in Hamburg University, they give the students a good grilling.
Oh. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Edit that out, Dave.
system of teaching business owners all the skills and knowledge they need. For McDonald's, the benefits of owning property are far greater than just an additional source of revenue. It's no exaggeration to call it an entirely different business model. It understands that real estate is a far better business than hamburgers. The first reason is just a function of American tax law, which offers heavy tax breaks for depreciation, even while that same property may increase in value over time. The biggest advantage is the long-term stability of property prices. Along with Walmart, McDonald's was one of only 2 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average to increase in value in 2008. It's also one of the 60 or so members of the so-called dividend aristocrats, stocks that have increased their dividends annually for 25 consecutive years. Recessions are only a welcome opportunity to buy up discounted properties. When things are truly catastrophic, like during a pandemic, the real estate model outsources risk to franchisees, who are contractually obligated to pay a minimum amount of rent regardless of sales. All of this is reflected in the upward trend of franchised McDonald's locations, and downward trend of the few remaining company-operated locations. If anything, McDonald's is actively trying to remove itself from the fast food industry. But this naturally raises a question. If McDonald's makes a huge portion of its profit in the form of rent, and managing real estate is a fairly separate skill from creating new McThings, why not split off the real estate holdings into a new company? Do that, and you have a very stable, active, and profitable real estate investment trust, one immune from the variability of fast food and changing consumer appetites. A group of investors suggested this very idea in 2015. The company, however, decided not to, believing that its property model is what makes it unique, and that its remarkable efficiency is a function of doing both. Now that you know the secrets of how one of the world's great companies truly makes its money, you might be interested in putting this new information to use with great Skillshare courses like...
That was really interesting video.
Brilliant, that one.
It's made me hungry as well, even though I've just had my lunch.
It's just something I've never considered before. Never even thought about
I
it.
can't believe that. I mean, what a great way to do it, actually owning a property. I was just under the impression that all things like fast food restaurants, McDonald's, KFCs, that just all rented. But they are, but off McDonald's, they
Rented
actually
from
own them,
McDonald's.
don't they?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I know you hear rumours, franchise, and everyone's got a number on a franchise that people come out with. You got to have 20 million to open a McDonald's, and
Yeah,
you got to have, X amount. Whereas, the realistic figures are there put on the screen,
Yeah.
Which seems more realistic to what some numbers banded around the pub are. Pub talk.
I always heard £1 million, but the way it was told to me was £1 million to get that sign above your door. Whereas they said they're like 45 grand franchise fees, but then £1 to £2 million total to set up the business. And
Well, that's your
Get it up
investment.
and running.
Yeah.
So it's
that it makes sense though, because I'll tell you what, the franchisees, they're making money. Everyone's making money.
Well, like they say, I mean, it's like more or less guaranteed to make money as well, isn't it? McDonald's, they just do, don't they?
Yeah.
they got a net profit there.
Huge.
An EBIT of what 154 was it 154 grand? That's after everything.
Yeah.
So
Which
Yeah,
makes you in a great scheme.
in-
It doesn't seem a lot, does it?
Well,
But
it depends on what when you take away salaries and dividends and everything else that goes with it.
Salaries, and the franchisee is probably taking the salary as well as dividends,
dividend
you'd imagine. So
But
they could be
that-
paying themselves 100 grand a year, and then the profit,
Maybe more,
when
yeah.
it was all said and done, is 154 grand.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm assuming that just went to the franchisee. The
It goes to the
154
company,
grand.
the holding company, whoever holds the
Yeah. Right, okay.
Or reinvestment, or keep it in the bank in case you
Yeah.
have some rainy days or whatever. But that'll be after, the MD's
Goes to the
wages.
shareholders.
After the
all that-
wages
all
and
that-
stuff,
yeah,
and yeah,
yeah.
of course.
everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
yeah, really interesting. That.
interesting. Yeah.
It's more interesting than I thought it'd be, actually.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
Good that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget like and subscribe. Hit the bell. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.